change to paragraph 15B, I'm prepared to sign the order.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think then, Your Honor, that takes us to docket 79, which is the motion for use of the Ripple proceeds.
Correct.
So, Your Honor, as a quick refresher, these are the monies that were related to the debtor's participation in a tender offer from Ripple Labs based in December of 2024. We've discussed, I think, plenty how the debtor got to that process, how former management participated in the tender, and where those shares came from. I think the evidence is in front of you in docket, Exhibit 3 and 4, in connection with who owned those shares, that they were owned by Liquid Shares, although the economic interests are a separate issue. And so, in our resolution with the committee, we have come to terms that financing this case, the most efficient, affordable way to do it is to use that cash. It is in the debtor's possession and it is on their books. We've highlighted for you, Your Honor, in our papers, Haber Oil from the Fifth Circuit. I know the court had concerns over Rule 7001. We highlighted for Your Honor that the burden is on the customers, not on the debtor, to bring an adversary if that's what they wish to do. So I think procedurally we're here in an appropriate form, Your Honor, and I think without running down that rabbit hole of the arguments that the committee feels strongly about, and the debtor feels strongly about, that is exactly what we're settling here today. It's important to note as part of the settlement that the Ripple holders that were affected by this particular transaction will get a rateable interest in their recoveries going forward, meaning we expect it to be 5%, is the cost of running the case. If it turns out the use of this cash is 6%, of that, there'll be some adjustment across the customers. So there'll be a claim, if you will, a rateable claim based on the cost among the customers generally. So that's evened out once we get to the finish line, Your Honor, and know what the costs actually are. So with that, Your Honor, subject to what the committee may have to say and other comments from other parties, I think also the settlement and docket 79 is right for approval.
All right, Mr. Elliott.
Thank you, Your Honor. As before, the committee supports this. As Mr. Schwartz has said, these shares shouldn't have been sold when they were sold, but they were. And now that we're here today at the point where we're likely going to be needing to sell some customer securities to fund the case, you might as well use the cash that's available, as you don't need to borrow it and the costs are lower. That said, the one thing I want to make clear to people, and I think Mr. Schwartz alluded to, is the sale of those Ripple securities caused about a 3% shortfall, so that there's about 97 shares for every 100 that should be there. And when we talk about a 5% haircut, we're not talking on top of that 3%. So that the goal will be that at the end of the day, everybody's got 95 shares of the 100 shares they should have, including Ripple holders, so that Ripple holders will not be prejudiced by the use of this money any more than any other customer is going to be prejudiced by the cost of this case.
All right, thank you. Mr. Brody? Hold on a second.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, for the record, Josh Brody from Cleary Gottlieb on behalf of the Swagger parties. And we have filed a reservation of rights on this motion. We have some claims that we think relate to the how the Ripple shares made their way to the debtors. We don't have any objection to the use itself. It's just to make sure that nothing in the order would prejudice our claims with respect to relating to it. I don't view that. I would not think it's controversial yet. I think at one point I asked debtors counsel to confirm it, but they had not heard back. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
Nothing here is intended to impair or modify the claims of Mr. Brody's claim.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm not making any finding as to the character or the nature of the shares. I'm giving the debtor the authority to use making any finding as to the nature of the shares and who owns them or how they're done. That's not what this is about. All right. Anyone else wish to be heard? All right. Yeah, let me just make sure. Does anyone else wish to be heard on the Ripple proceeds motion? If you're muted, you can hit 5-star. Dr. Boreani, do you wish to be heard? Hit 5-star one time. All right. Hearing no further objections. Based on the evidence in front of me, I think that the use of the Ripple proceeds to fund the case is a proper exercise of the debtor's business judgment. This is. I have to defer to the debtor's business judgment on this issue as to the best way to fund the case. I think under the circumstances, obviously nobody wishes we were in this position. Nevertheless, I do believe it's a proper exercise of the debtor's business judgment, so I will go ahead and approve the motion and enter the order. And it's still the order at number 79, or is there an updated order?
There's not an updated order, Your Honor. It's still the order at 79.
Okay, so just give me a minute.
I don't know if that he just did that for the Ripple shares or that for all the shares that's going to be there. He just settled that for the Ripple shares, look like. Or sounds like. I might ask the question.
Hand raised.